not much going on in today's world, or let alone the fact that there's not much going on in anime and the manga universe. I don't even know if I call it universe, but pretty much not much is going on here. And in fact, I thought it was a pretty slow weekend, or even a week. I barely got any news coming out of it. The only thing I got is just chapters. I know it's probably because a lot of things has been going through a recovery season from the Golden Week and anything else, but yeah, not much is going on. So this is actually could be easier to get straight to the chapters reviews. So one thing I'd like to discuss is just rather funny to me because maybe it's just about a fan base talk, or more like a what happens to the fan when they get fed up with something. So that's not much to say else, and yeah, that's really it's been a slow week. This is Sparda's World episode 13, and yeah, this is Sparta 3G as always, just bringing you only one news today. It's only more of interest than anything else because it's not really a news breaking. Because if it's news breaking, it would have been something that everybody will have to know, and something that's actually very progress in one specific series. So, this is not much of a news. It's more like how a fan treat this thing today's. I'm not sure they change anything right now, but I'm pretty sure they leave it like that as of today. And what I'm talking about is Hunter x Hunter. Now, this series has been a hiatus since, I believe, August of last year. And it's a shame because this is such a great series. And Yoshihiro Tokushi is known to be the guy who has been taking a hiatus for such a many time in the past of this series alone. This is crazy, but there's always different reasons to it. Some of them are actually like a medical problem with him and medical health issues, and then the other time he just takes a break because he just does. It's just, I don't know, I guess he just doing office said he got tired of his own work. Awfully, they just say he just got too lazy and just really don't really care about his work. Now, I don't know. There's a lot of different interpretation and a lot of different like a theory about the guy. Unless it says about medical health issues, then that's just it. But when it comes to like why go hiatus now, is it because you just don't like your work anymore? Is it because you have any issues, or are you just lazy and you just want to call it quit? So yeah, with that all said, there are bookstores such as Book Off in Japan. They just got tired of the series, as in like more of a tired of the guy, because the guy's like, come back already with your hiatus. August is almost, we're approaching a year hiatus long from Hunter x Hunter. So you know what? We're just gonna call this a finished series instead of going ongoing series or just a series itself. They just consider it as a finished series. Like, look at this wonderful finished series. You gotta read all 32 volumes. It's a great complete set series. That's pretty much what they're advertising now. At least in some of the bookstores. Not all bookstores would do that. But the fact is, they actually started doing that. It's just rather funny, but at the same time, it's what happens when you have a fan, or what happens when you have somebody that knows about the manga series, such as Hunter x Hunters, and it's just like, this series is not going to continue at all. Let's call it quits. Let's call it a finish, and just have his own section of finished series. So pretty much they consider that now, and I guess they probably do have sales. I'm not sure they have sales, but yeah, that's what's going on as of today. Unless they change their mind, and unless Tokushi has a Twitter account or a Facebook account, he should be like, no, it's not true. It's not finished. No, it's not true. It's not even a news thing. Like Weekly Shonen Jump has announced that Hunter x Hunter is completely done. No. It's nothing like that. It's just about a fan, or just maybe another, just one of the owners of the bookstore that just decided to say, you know what, let's just call it as a ended series, a complete series. It's more of a a third party suggestions more so than Weekly Shonen Jump or Togashi saying that it is done. So the reason why I'm bringing this up is because it's just funny to me how people could actually get so fed up with something about this whole production schedule. So it's not like they're tired of the series. It's more like they're just tired of the productions. Like, when are we gonna get a new series, a new volume? It's been such a long time. Is it done? You know what? I'm gonna call it done because you're not making it any new progress. So I'm just gonna call it a complete series. So there you go. Now, the more funny part is the actual fans of the series, and you got like some people saying like, well, it is done, so yeah, why not call it complete? And it's like, if it's really over because this guy's not gonna come back, fine, it's better that way. I don't no more whatever. If it's gonna be that, so be it. Then you have other fans to say it's not finished. Come on. Just let the guy come back and actually finish it. So whatever, and pretty much they go on defense on that the series is not really complete, and then you have the guys like, yeah, come on, don't give up. This series is not done, and stuff like that. They're talking about the mix up to the production to the bookstores and Togashi himself. Because seriously, when is the last time we got a new chapter volume or chapter on himself? So, we got people just arguing about that, and it's funny because because it's like it's almost been a year and people are still defending. I'm not, and at the same time, I admire that because this is such a great series, and I really don't want it to just end it like that. I'm not saying there should be another 700, 800, 900 chapters of series. But I do think it should just try to reach this real conclusion and then call it quits. But that's Togashi for you. So, you got fans defending this side, and I don't blame them. And, some people probably said it that way because they're not, it's not more of a hater of the series. It's more of the hater of the mangaka, Togashi himself. Because people are getting tired of him not coming back and do anything else to the series and not making any progress, not telling any status to the fans, making it seem like fans are being rejected. Fans can be, a bit hasty or more of a, I can't find the right word right now because it's such early in the morning to do this recording of the podcast. I can't find the right term to say that fans, I'm not, they could be very see, I can't really find a word, but they really wanted to get everything they want. You got to please the fans. That's something that a lot of writers and a lot of anyone else in terms of being a public view, you got to be concerned. Now, even though they should go their own way, no matter what happens, it's just that people is just, they wanted to see what they really want to see. Sometimes what you wanted to do, maybe it could surprise them and maybe they will end up liking you for that. But, sometimes fans can be very demanding and they can be very, frightening these time of era. So, basically, they're not mad at the series sucks or something like that. It's just mad at the guy. They just want him to do something more. But if he's not gonna do anything more, then screw him. That's how they see it, and that's probably the main reason. Because I'm pretty sure it's not about the series. I mean, if it's about the series, some people will not even care. It's like, well, it's not coming back. It's not coming back. Some people will be like, well, good riddance, because they go on hiatus for so long. And it's not even this series. Even Berserk is getting that kind of feed. It's just the fans really wants more out of it. But then if the mangaka doesn't come back and continue it, then you know what? It starts to rebel against the mangaka. And I mean, look, I really don't hate the guy. Don't really dislike the decision. I'm only saying that I really wish it comes back because this is such a good series. But if it's not coming back, then that sucks. That's all I can say. I'm not going to be like, well, if it doesn't come back, I'm going to start rebel. I'm going to start hating the series. Either start to hate the guy or just say good riddance. I'll be like, oh, that's a shame. That's pretty much I could only go for. I really don't have any grudge towards the decision making, but other than that, I can't really say too much about it. I guess I'm such a neutral guy, despite if I'm a fan of a Hunter x Hunter series, and let alone Berserk as well. It's just, if it comes to not coming back, then I guess that sucks. That's about it. I can't do anything else. I'm pretty sure I can't do anything else in terms of getting more of the series. So yeah, that's the only news I got. It's only more of a interest than the news. Not much really going on in the manga series or anime news stuff. Not much is happening. It's just been a slow week. I gotta say, just been a slow week, and I'm not gonna do any transition this one. Next week, I'm going to start to do a lot of improvements in my podcast. As this week, we're just gonna do the same basic. Look at the pure plain black background with a white text, and it's not much of a editorial thing. I'm going to start doing a lot of different things. Okay, not too much different, but more of like a better quality. At least I hope I could do better quality in the next week podcast. So in this one, I guess you could call it a lace up me doing this whole podcast episode. Next week I'm going to put more work to it. It's just that because I just got the new device, I really don't know the capability of that device, and I'm starting learning more and more about how to utilize and everything else. It's such a good thing too, but I guess you could say I underestimated myself, thinking it's gonna be such a breeze, but it actually takes longer than I thought. But once I get used to it, we will start seeing a lot of different improvements in my work. So all right, no transition. That means we're gonna go straight to Tokyo Ghoul, and yeah, that's where we're going. Let's do this. It's been a long time since I have been very, 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 very hyped for the next chapter or maybe the next upcoming event of the series, and Tokyo Ghoul Read has done it for me. It's been such a long time. Not that the fact that the series doesn't do that. It's just that the series is still good on its own, really good on its own. Just that I guess I'm waiting for that epic moment, or that moment that's really gonna make me say, oh yeah, I remember why this series is such a kick-ass series, or something, anything around there. And not long has been that I kind of I guess you could say fanboy out of it. Not that I really fanboy out of it, but it's more like, I got too hype about it. And then I calmed down, and looking right back at the chapter, I still thought it was such a really damn good chapter. It's really, really, really good. And the hype, the anticipation that the cliffhanger has created is mind-boggling, that I really want to skip a week and just see what's next. I don't even think it's going to happen next week. The next chapters, I mean. I don't even think that crazy turn of events is going to happen in the next chapter. But whatever it is building up to that one epic proportion of events. And, this chapter itself is still really good. Now, it's been such a long time that I've been anticipated like this. So, reading this out, it really, 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 really got me so hyped up. And, I forgot that kind of feeling in a way. I mean, I've been hyped for a lot of series. I guess a lot of series have been hyped up. But for this one, I guess it escalated way, above anything else since I started recording the podcast. So this is a good accomplishment on their part. Now, I guess you could say it depends on your taste. It depends on your fan side. But for me, I know, like I said, I read it twice, or more than that, actually. First time, I guess you could say the fan got the best out of me, which is not that much, which is, it often happens on and on, but usually I go read it again to see it in the neutral side, and I still thought it was really damn good. And I thought that the anticipation for the next event is gonna be skyrocket over probably like the most anticipated a moment that the series could offer, or anything else in terms of all the mangas I've been reading. So yeah, Tokyo Ghoul chapter 28 really did it for me. And like I said, this chapter itself was really damn good. So again, Takizawa was just kicking this guy ass, Sasuke. Sorry. And yeah, pretty much he's trying to force him way to just use Kaneki Ken, but he's not doing it. Last chapter, you see him, struggling between keeping himself and just either get killed or try to fight back. Which fighting back doesn't seem like the option anymore because he's really getting killed out there, or use Kaneki Ken, but at the same time lose Sasuke at the same time, as in, because you never know if you use Kaneki and nobody's gonna stop him, then pretty much Sasuke is out of the picture, and pretty much we're gonna have Kaneki, whether he's gone crazy or he's just gonna be himself with all the mind returning and just like, hey, look, I'm Kaneki and I know everything, and I'm just gonna leave this investigators. So there's a lot of struggles for him, but he's really not trying to go to Kaneki. And I guess I can understand his situation, but, he's really getting killed out there to the point that he's just getting ragdoll, just getting dragged by Takizawa and just playing around with him, making it act like trying to do a play. It's like, let's do a play. You be the one that begs to, don't want to die, and then you just want to say, oh, second thought, I do want to die. So it's just crazy that this guy is really not giving in, but I admire that, but this is great because he's getting killed out there, and so far he's not getting any help. Maybe he might get help in the next chapter or so, but he's about to be in his deathbed. He's in a death wish. That's one thing. So there we go. We have Shirazu. After coming back from the last chapter, he was starting to understand how the Nutcracker works in terms of using one of her Kagane as a traps. So, with that set of mind, he decided to take a vibration and use his hearing, and he find out there's actually 5 or 6 left of them. So he's really improving himself to be a really good leader, which he was assigned to, and he really didn't think it would be a good idea because, this guy is more of an outgoing guy. You could tell his personality is more like I wouldn't say a solo guy, but he's not much of a teamwork or a leadership. He's more like a follower, if anything. So see him understand the idea of how it works and see how to plan things out. It is a true good leadership, and that's a good development for him. And I enjoy to see how he plans things out. So once he used Hayashimoru and Psycho to gather up and decide to do the plan, it actually came out very effective. That they actually defeated the Nutcracker. They forced herself to get close to her own trap because apparently the trap is actually signified whenever it gets close to the nearby things. It could be anything, even his own creator. So in other words, it could it's like a mine. I could set a mine trap, but if I get next to it, it will explode on me. So yeah, that's how it works. And he found a way. And pretty much they all mine trap. They force her to get near to the trap, and without her realizing it, because the battle has been pushing her further and further with these two with the squad. And pretty much they got her really nicely. So again, I really appreciated Shirazu and his leadership skills. And then this is the interesting one. We have Psycho, who finally is going out there and just gonna annihilate the Nutcracker. But it was done off screen. Now you could tell she went a bit insane with the close up of her face, up to the point that the guy even commented that he doesn't even know who's the real monster anymore. So I wonder why we haven't seen her power. I wonder why it was off panel. I don't know, but I find this an interesting take to do this because it makes you really wonder exactly what did she do or what kind of Kagane does she. I mean, we know the Kagane, but how much effective it is. I mean, she has 0 experience in the combat until now, but the fact that whatever she has, it really became heavily effective to the fact that it just annihilated her. I mean, the Nutcracker is pretty much close to death until Shirazu finally did that final call, the final curtain call, by just ending her life with a stab wound. And before she dies, I believe she does die. Before it happens, she basically have a flash before her very eyes, uh, seeing her old self. Just really want to be a beautiful lady. She just want to be beautiful. She wants some money, but in the end, she just want to be beautiful. It's amazing that at a very short length before her life ended, you get to see what she wanted to be, and pretty much it's like I guess it reminded me of Jason, where Jason was such a freak of nature, and he's such a crazy guy, a lunatic serial killer. And then when his deathbed comes, he is pretty much the man gone weak, and becomes such a very, very vulnerable person, to the point that all the emotions has been exposed. So with the Nutcracker, and in such a short time, I actually feel a little bit sorry, which is strange, because I would never guess I would feel a little bit sympathy for such a character in one big panel of her talking about just want to be beautiful, and her life is just ended. And you see like the little panels of the flashback. I guess you could say you could understand it so quickly, and it's easy enough to make you understand her. So that's I wouldn't say that's strange or unique, but it's a good accomplishment to actually make it work without throwing it in your face so often. And to me, it seems like Shirazu could go through a new development of understanding the ghouls are really, like any normal humans, just want to live a normal life or anything else, like act like, have a desire of a human. So that could be a new Shirazu development cycle, because right now he's just got the leadership and he does a job well done. Now, as a leadership, he's going to start understanding that ghouls are more of a human, not really just monsters. So that I could see that coming down the line, and I'll be interested to see how it's going to go down for him. So I'm liking this character development for the Shirazu. And you have Ayato, who he's pretty much damn strong right now. Like his his ukaku. It's good for far range, not so much with the close range. But then, surprise, surprise, he actually is pretty damn good in close range, and he made his ukaku worth make it work in the close range, and it's amazing because I don't know. A lot of people try to speculate that he probably had a Kokka job, but I doubt that. Maybe he does, and I don't think so. I mean, it is 2 years, and he's supposed to get tired when he was in far range, but when he got close, all of a sudden he got something new. Either he really fully mastered to make it work in the close range, or it's just that maybe he really evolved into something else. But I think it could be the former. Maybe he just really got strong in the close range, since he managed to get a lot of experience in the close range in his youth. So I guess he's now really good in both range, which is great for him, but could be scary for anyone else, of course. So, but we'll see. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there is something he just did. Maybe he did get an upgrade at Kago job, but I doubt that. I really doubt that. For now, I doubt. But the reason of course I have skipped more of Sasuke versus Takizawa, but we're gonna get to that very soon. We have Misav going against Akira, and pretty much it ended there because, well, she's pretty damn strong. Akira, I mean, she is like her dad now, but yeah, she's pretty much a really, really strong investigator now, which really could take on a ghoul, which is really good. Then, well, actually not then yet. We got the whole Takizawa continually talking to Sasuke, talking about this whole, like the whole I can't believe you're actually equal level to me. So what you're gonna do? Your life is run the line and stuff like that. You're too weak, really, really too weak. You're supposed to be in the same level, but you're just too weak, So he gets more pissed off the fact that, he's fighting a guy who's supposed to be strong as him, or maybe even stronger, but right now he's way too cocky for his need, that he really needs to get his ass kicked so badly. At least to me, he needs to get his ass kicked because he's killing me right now. So, pretty much he's just beating him up, and he's about to die. And then he tells him, like, what are you hesitating for? Sasuke. And then he said, no, Ken Kaneki. In other words, he pretty much knows that he is Kaneki. And I guess that goes to everyone else background. I don't know about Ayato or Hinami. I think they don't know about him. Maybe they do. I don't know. I just know Ito and him and probably the doctors and everyone else in the background. And of course Superior. They know Kaneki is in fact alive and just lost his persona. Then Sasaki just struggling against himself, going to get mind struggles of him not accepting that he's Kaneki. So he's really, really doing the best he can just not to give in with the idea of him actually being Kaneki, and he wants to be the new guy, Sasaki. Then you have the Scarecrow, which I believe the Scarecrow guy, he's the one that makes the communication go through the entire arena. That's where everybody starts to hear Takizawa talking, and everyone else just stopped and just like, what's going on? What the hell is going on? And it seems like Akira was asking who is Sasuke fighting against, and I do believe because the shocking part for her was the fact that she's hearing a familiar voice, and that could be Takizawa. If Takizawa is alive, even though he's bad, if Takizawa is alive, that means Almond is alive, right? I guess there's hope for that for her. Now, there's gonna be such a sad part for her because Takizawa are classmate with Akira, and yeah, the situation. Takizawa is such a different scenario now. It's such a new guy, a bad one, no less. So that's not going to make her happy at all. And of course, Takizawa has a huge grudge with Akira, as always, since the past. So seeing this happening again, it's just not going to make anything better. But it is interesting that she's starting to notice that this might be Takizawa, and she really wants to answer if that's him. Uta took his mask off, suggesting the battle either ended or he went away. I don't know what is actually going on. He removed his mask, which is a significant panel to notice that, because it's just like, because if you're in a combat against the investigators, you leave that mask on, but he didn't. So is he done? I don't know if he's done. Everyone else continuously hears him, and it seems like Shirazu's squad is going to meet up with Sasuke and help him out. That is until they Psycho see the camera view of, I guess it is to believe that she's watching Sasuke getting murderized by Takizawa. Not sure what is going on, but yeah, it seems like the anticipation is that the world is going to witness Sasuke going to Kaneki. And pretty much Takizawa tells everyone to meet him in that area, and he will let the suffocation of him sound travel them to lead them to that. And it's just crazy. But the reason why I'm so built up is because everybody's going to see this guy, Kaneki. Everybody's going to witness the most devastating ghoul back in season series 1, minus the one-eye ghoul. But the fact is, the one-eye owl, those guys, I mean, they're higher ranked than Kaneki, but Kaneki was up there and he was becoming well known. And of course, Arima took a fought against him, and I believe Arima got his first hit by Kaneki than anyone else, unless I don't remember if someone else took a hit on him. But yeah, this is crazy. This is the way how this is building up is getting me too hyped up for the next chapter. But I don't even think the next chapter is going to happen. I think it's going to happen probably in the second next chapter. So yeah, but it was really a damn good chapter because the whole Nutcracker has ended. You got the whole good development coming from Shirazu. When his leadership has really improvement. Such a mysterious way to showcase Psycho Kagane. We have the entire struggles between Sasuke and Kaneki, forcing him not to use him. But then he got to the point the mindset really going against him, to the point that it seems like he may end up going Kaneki after all. And yeah, the participation for this is just crazy. I really can't wait for the next chapter. I don't even know if anything else could go surpass this anticipation for me in this series. In other series, I mean. But yeah, this is such a damn good chapter. I definitely read this more than 3 times, and for sure. And there's a lot of good action scenes, especially like with the whole Ayato just getting stronger and stronger, and then the whole Takizawa just wrecking the guy and just mind screwing him. So yeah, really damn good chapter. I can't wait for this one. I don't know if it will live up to the hype, or I think we're gonna hit a pause because we still have Mama, Big Mama and Madam. I said Mama, I'm sorry, Big Madam and all the other situation. So expect going there more so than go to Kaneki, because we have to conclude a lot of things before we get to the main event. So hang in there, we're getting there. So then we have Fairy Tail. Now, I know there were pretty much a good amount of complaint with these chapters. Actually, more of the last chapter, which is 434. I can understand where people are coming from, but at the same time, while I understand them, I don't think it's really that justified. Here's the thing. As you may notice, we've been having these 2 chapters for a month, and next week is the last one. So, that was fun while it lasted. But with that being said, if you haven't noticed already, this arc, if you want to call it that, hasn't really been a arc to be so invested or very serious. It's more of a, let's show off our power, because we have been going through a lot of developments and changes over a year. We have that time skip, so why not show our power up move? Stuff like that. So pretty much what I'm saying is this is the usual case that shonen usually goes through the whole time skip, and then we gotta showcase the new power or how powerful we are. We gotta top it up the notch. We gotta go over the top, because we have to show how powerful we gotten. With for example, Natsu going against Blue Note, he took him down with 1 shot, 1 hit, 1 blast. So that was it. And of course that tells you, wow, he got too powerful. I remember the time he was struggling that day. So that's the case when I'm going at. And this is no exception. This is pretty much Avatar, the Guild Avatar, the Dark Guild Avatar. It's pretty much a fodder just to showcase the power of all these guys, which I don't mind. And it's done by quickly. And it's a good thing that Mashima has in fact taken a month and use this month, and well, not this month, but use a month length to do 2 chapters per week in order to get this over and out. Because if it was by a weekly basis, it will be boring, and it will be such a drag, even though it's not really dragging out because it's gone by quick. But it would feel that way because you got to do a lot of waiting period. But here is done by quickly, so the time and pace is not really a problem. Now, when we get that out of the way, we have another problem. It's the showcase of how to do this. But in the same time, you got to understand this is about showing off Fairy Tail's new powered up moves, new powered up attacks, and just overall how powerful they are. And why I get that, and while some people really don't really get that, and if they do, they really still want to complain, it's a little bit I don't know. That's kind of unfair to this kind of series. I know I'm not saying the series is really that great or anything like that, or the series has been well, to be honest, I know the series has been picked on for some of the good reasons, but some of the reasons is a little bit unjustified because what I said. People gotta understand this arc is pretty much a show off arc. It's not like, oh, we're about to have a real arc and he just easily one shot him. I understand they are coming. I understand the series is known for derailing the hype, and actually this one part kind of did that, and more or less, but still, I understand some of the arcs has done that so many times. But this one is, you should not even take it into account, because again, this is more of a show off the fairy tale powered up and everything else like that. Until we get a real arc, which I hope that will be next, because right now we get the idea. They're strong, they're powerful, but we got to get to the real arc now, because when we get to the real arc, then there's a lot of good things to come. At least I'm hoping for that. Well, with that being said, there are two problems I have with this chapter. Okay, they're not problems, but it's more like it didn't work for me well, and it's pretty much in the second chapter. The first chapter were decent. It was a decent chapter. The second one was decent too. They were decent enough for me to like it, but at the same time, they were not such a great. They were not that great or anything that would make me so hype up for the next chapter. I'm just glad it got over though, and next week we're having last two more chapters before we go back to the normal scheduling. And I believe when it comes to normal scheduling, a lot of things will be like more interesting. It was interesting in the beginning, but I guess that's because I was wondering where Gray's gonna go with this, and it ends up being nowhere, unless it's a pause, and what I'm hoping is just a pause development, because I don't want to be like it's just dropped, period. I really hope that's not the case, but we'll see what happens. So, with the first chapter, it was all Natsu going against the Avatar leader Gil, I believe his name is Arlok. So, pretty much they're going against each other. You know, it's kind of quick, because Arlok is pretty much more known for a barrier, which you cannot pass through him. According to these guys, his barrier is so powerful that you really can't break it. And then Natsu obviously breaks it, and pretty much once again showcase the power of the character. The power of this character. Even though this is the first time we see Arlok going against the guy, it still showcased how powerful Natsu has become. He did the Fire Dragon's Iron Fist, and that took him out. It easily took him out. But it's such a huge radius blast that it blew everyone away from the surface around him. So that's how powerful he has gotten. It was not much of a fight. It was just more of a showing off of Natsu. I guess you could call Natsu a One Punch Man super light. I don't know. So he beats Arlok, but unfortunately for him, the summoning has been awakened. They managed to do the summon, and now the God of War has come upon from the sky, and I guess his name is Ikusasu Nagi. Just coming from the sky, which actually looks pretty cool to see how this whole summoning process come in. The art. I still praise Mashima for doing these two chapters with a lot of art has to be drawn. It's not easy, so I still give him credit for that. Regardless if there's not much of a story progress, when it comes to art, I still think he did a really good job in his end. So you see a giant foot just come out from the sky. And pretty much, yeah, this is just one hell of a summon, and I guess that's where one of the disappointment comes in. But we get to that soon. So basically, the summon comes out, squash the people, and pretty much Arla doesn't care about anyone comrades, because they're all doing their sacrifice. That's necessary. They just want to see Zera. So yeah, he's staying true to his words. Guy's crazy, and yeah, he come down and he's pretty damn huge, and yeah, like I said, he's a God of War, whatever that long name I just said. And interesting note, and I hope they could save this, is that Urza said that the guys summoned one of the 18 battle gods of Yakma. So that means there's going to be a lot more of them. Well, 70 of them left, but the reason why I'm wondering they gotta save this is because it's what happened in the next chapter. And the next chapter is that Natsu went against the God of War, went straight up towards him, and pretty much tried to take him down while everybody keep telling him he's useless. And not only that, it does also show the powerful of the God of War. You could create a huge crater. You could make the ground split open. It's crazy. But yeah, like I said, the thing is, Natsu went up there himself, trying to go against it, and a lot of people not a lot of people, just Arlok, saying like, this is futile. We're doing this so we could sacrifice themselves for their Lord and Savior Seraph. But, you know, he was like, enough of this crap. And this is where the friend species comes in. It's like, you're wrong. Commerce are the people that share the same purpose and move forward with you. It's the usual things you hear. Didn't do much for me because, you know, it's same old, same old. I mean, it matched to the scenario, but, you know, it's not much to praise about. It's just the same old, same old. But if it has to be done with the series, it has to be done with the situation, then so be it. So that was about it. Kind of wish there was more to it, but whatever's. Then he did a punch right straight on top of his head. It didn't work. I mean, it moved them, but it didn't work. But then this is where Nasu talking about not wanting to lose anyone else anymore. Ever since death of Igno, he doesn't want anyone to die anymore. So, well, we will see about that. But this is where the craziness comes. This is where, you know, he pretty much got so fed up of people gonna die. He don't want to. He will go so deep training in order to you know, not anyone else to die. He wanted to protect everyone this time around, and he wants to still become stronger. So now the cool thing about it is just that Nasu has the Ignil flame, and he's pretty much gonna utilize it to the fullest. So I guess you could say he's ready up to go against a dragon. That's good. He's a dragon slayer. He needs to take down a dragon one day. So this is where his powerful punch comes in, and it's called Flame Dragon King's Crumbling Fist. Neat name. So this is where the people complaint comes in. He actually took down the God of War. Now, I understand the hype of God of War was made for Nasu to take it down and make you understand that Nasu actually destroyed a God of War with 2 hits, or more of a 1 hit, because first hit was just a strong punch. Second hit is where the real damage comes in. It's where the real power comes in. And he took it down, which is impressive, of course. Just, I think using the God of War seems like a stretch, because we just started to know there's a God of War. And unless somebody say, you know, this God of War was like the weakest. It was like power level 10. The other one are power level 1000. Unless they say something like that. I find this to derailing the hype of the God of War. It is because the God of War are just are just now being talked about, and the way how they're being summoned, it seems like a huge requirement. It's just crazy. I can understand you could take down the God of War, but not now. We just started to get introduced to these guys, unless it's just made for soldiers. I don't know, but I just think that it was just too much. I kind of wish Nasu took down someone else. I kind of wish he took down Arlok in a different way. I kind of wish all of them took down the God of War. You know, Urza, Lucy, Gray, Juvia, Wendy, you know, or matter of fact, have Gaju come in, which I don't even know where is he. So, you know, again, this is a little bit over the top. I mean, it is over the top itself, but again, we just got introduced to this God of War, and in order suddenly just took it down, like, it just buries them. I don't know. Maybe in due time they will explain there will be like more of them. This was the weakest one. And it was cool to see that summon while it lasted, and then it just got taken down. So I understand the show defeat of strength, and it is impressive that Adasa has really got this strong. Starting using his fathers, you know, Ignil, Flame is cool and everything. Just kind of wish it didn't done this way with the whole God of War. That's my real complaint. Not much to say with the chapter. It's self-explanatory. He went up there, defeat the leader, then defeat the leader, summon, and that's it. And just show off how strong Nasu really is. So not bad of a chapter. Again, you gotta acknowledge this is all about them showing off their new power, they're powered up or whatever. This is how this arc works. It pretty much took advantage of using 2 chapters to showcase that quickly and get it done before we get to the real story. So, you know, again, I appreciate this, and I'm happy that he went to this route, because it would have been a drag. Even though it's not really dragging, it just would have been, it would have taken us a while. We'd probably be in maybe July to see this moment. So, yeah. Bottom line, they were a decent chapter. Gotta understand the whole concept. A little bit of hit and miss there. Of course, the hit and miss would be the speech, understandable, but it could have been said better. And the God of War going against Natsu is a bit over the top, but what can you do? So let's see what happens in the next upcoming chapters, which are the last two chapters that's gonna come out on a weekly basis, and then we're gonna start going back to one chapter. But hey, it was fun while it lasted. So then we get to Nanasu no Taizai, or Seven Deadly Sins, actually. So yes, we're in chapter 125, and I was expecting actually a more flashback, but I didn't mind this one at all. In fact, I thought this was a good chapter with the new, progress and a established report on the entire what to do, what's next, and the idea of, well, what is the next best thing to do? And obviously there's the shonen conclusion, but then again, that's the only conclusion you can really think of in this kind of scenario. But I did like the entire idea where they're not only they're gonna get stronger, but they're gonna have like the entire army base in order to make it such a equal amount of battlefield. And it's actually kind of cool to even think that. I really hope they didn't go too much further in terms of how they're gonna achieve that. Like they're gonna suddenly be stronger than them that easy, or have a good equal battle once in a while. They were showing that a little bit in the last arc. With this one, it needs to be done. Then, because it doesn't need to be a run of the mill. It just needs to be more balanced. And of course, the Demon Clan is very hyped up, and the whole Galen destruction is already good enough to understand that these guys are no joke, especially when they still have the goddess seal. So they need to make more out of that by actually giving them amount of trouble. But again, they established they're going to use the other army base in order to help out. So we're going to might see a lot of cooperative work in the upcoming, in this arc or whatever the next arc, when it comes to the battling against the Ten Commandments. So it should be interesting if they're really going to go that route. But we'll see what happens, how they're going to do it. I just hope they don't do it too far-fetched, because I can understand Meliodas with the whole demon form thing, but if you're going to do like with everyone else, I don't know. Like, you got to explain well enough why they just suddenly got this powerful. So we should see how this works. But now that we're no longer in the flashback, we're pretty much ended from the Meliodas' last memory of not able to protect Liz, his former love interest. And the last thing we hear, well, not hear, but read from Liz was that we will see each other again. Now, people were trying to think if this is the idea of Elizabeth being the reincarnation of Liz. I'm not going to jump to that conclusion, even though there's like some hints here and there, but I'm not going to jump to that conclusion at this time. It's possible she's the reincarnation. I don't know what's Liz. I thought we're going to get more information on Liz, especially the way how Fodron attacked her and killed her. And it seems like it can't be just like, oh, she's going to kill her because it got to be a reason. I mean, it could be just linked to Meliodas. That's about it. But then again, like I said, it could be just it could be a great reason why to kill her. I mean, it's the same situation with the last arc with when Fodron, who was Dreadforce in the body, he was trying to kill Elizabeth. Didn't work, but it seems like it's almost a deja vu in some scenario, in a different attack, but in the same scenario, the same situation more exactly. So I don't know if that is the case. As in saying, Liz could be a very special person, as in not human or not just a great holy, just not a holy knight or anything else like that. It might be just be something more. It could be the goddess. I don't know. It could be she could come from a different clan. It's a mystery right now. So of course we're not going to learn more of that until later on. So I guess it's a good call on the mangaka to do, not to establish who is Liz and what makes it so significant for this scenario with Fodron and everything else. And pretty much Elizabeth was waiting by him, and she felt happy that he gets to see him. He's happy. He's like, don't cry. So everything is basically getting back to normal. Slander got his arm repair. Arthur was pretty sad to let down Merlin because, she turns to a statue, so she pretty much is presumed to be dead. Slander's telling him, you got to man up and stuff like that. You can't let her, like, they're down by showing a weak side of him, which is pretty much down tears and everything else. And now Melodus is awake, so we got them explaining, how the fact that Galen able to leave without finishing them off. And luckily, Goddard managed to manipulate his memories, basically alternated the memory in order to get the idea that he actually killed them. So, there's a good explanation on that part, which explains with Galen, you see the little thing was fading away from Goddard. So it makes sense how Galen just thought he killed them, even though you would actually stay back and try to kill them and keep going and keep going. So there you go. That's the explanation. I accept this one. This is actually reasonable. This guy has no clothes. I don't know why. But then again, he has that. I guess he could say he has that pretty boy face, probably body too. I don't know. It's not my concern. So whatever, it's on me. But one would say why he's not going crazy. Well, apparently he has a bracelet now, a control bracelet. So no longer he would have to lose his control in order to get self-awareness and all that. Go like on his own ways in a dark route style, much like how we saw it before. Just want to alternate memory of a woman in order to see the love and everything else, to see the lifestyle. Something that's pretty demeaning. So Merlin pretty much explained that she made sure that she put it on Goddard. It's just so he won't do his escape and have his guard down and stuff like that. So that's pretty much give Arthur the idea that Merlin is in fact alive. Just not in the statue. She managed to transfer her soul into the Morning Star Alden. So it's like a little spear. Now she's like a floating bowl, orb. I mean. But yeah, again, reasonable. She is pretty well skilled in the magic and like this, so makes sense how she managed to escape and not die and not have the ultimate shield that Arthur and Elizabeth was put in. So that explains that part. Everything else was explained in terms of like how these guys weren't dead. Galen would have killed them off, but he thought he already killed them. Kind of shocking that Melodus took the stab in the head, but he is a demon, so. Fair enough. So, Merlin pretty much starts to explain with the entire idea that Galen is just that top tier, and the problem is that Galen is sorry, I got distracted for a second. Galen is pretty much at his weakest form, and yeah, just imagine if you're in the full power. Then what? You're pretty much screwed. So, luckily for them, and. Yeah, great. But then Melody's strategy is like, okay, we gotta come up with some strategies. I guess he's back to normal. Good for him in terms of speaking instead of like very scared off like before when he felt the Ten Commandment was arising again. But yeah, and pretty much they go to the explanation that. These are the time where people has to get stronger, and now it's the seven deadly sins has to get stronger. So yeah, the answer is power up. That's your solution. Again, this is something you're always gonna hear in a lot of series, or at least in shonen. This is the most logical way you could try to catch up to their level. Is just level up, power up. I mean. Oh boy, but there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying that. It's just kind of funny. It's like only one thing solution: get stronger. I'm just hoping whatever they're gonna find a way to get stronger isn't that far fetched and just a little bit too old, just a little bit too what a coincidence or something like that. I mean, I understand this whole thing is a fantasy thing, like the way how it's been demonstrated, but still, let's not go too far fetched. Let's try to I can't say be realistic, but let's not just ass pull it, I guess. Whatever that means in this type of world. So, we'll see how this goes. But I am interested to see how they're going to get their power up. And they managed to explain with the whole power level. They talk about the entire power level. All of them are pretty strong. They combine, I believe, 21,840. And they even calculated the army base, which is like about 158,000. And Hawk still believes he has 3,000, so he's that powerful. Yeah. But then problem is, you talk about Gallon, and the other demon they're like 2600 2600,000. And then if the seals wear off, then they're gonna be even stronger, like over 300,000. So I guess this is one way to explain how much the power gap is different. It's like some Dragon Ball Z era, but yeah, that's how they explain it. And pretty much they now had to start to power themselves up. And not only that, Elizabeth and Arthur has to awaken their power, which is good because I'm actually interested to see what makes Arthur so damn powerful. Because everybody felt that power from him, and it felt like it was just way too tremendous. Unfortunately, he hasn't unlocked it, so he's just a scrub. Well, okay, not scrub, but you know what I mean. He's just a hindrance at this time. Same thing with Elizabeth. Even though her magic side is really helpful, it could be damn helpful. Actually, if everybody gets killed or get near death, she healed them up easily. So now she has to really have to awaken, which I'm interested to see. At least they're not trying to hold it back for a long time. So I'm good with that. So yeah, it should be interesting to see how they all gonna get their power and awaken. And not only that, they actually going to find the last remaining 7 deadly sin, and that's the Escarnar. If you have read the spin-off, the vampire thing, it is a really good one, actually. For a short one, it was pretty fun to read, but the main interest is obviously the Escarnar, and believe me, he is pretty he's interesting, and I like how the way how his power works, and is, I wouldn't say unique, but it's something that hasn't been done so often, and it's kind of like some crazy power RPG system. I really like that, but yeah, I can't wait to get to see him again, or whatever it is, because that wasn't back in the past. Maybe the current era maybe the current era, as in this timeline, maybe he's different. I don't know. Maybe he probably have the same design as the spinoff. We'll see. So yeah, and then finally King comes back. And yeah, he came back pretty. He got slammed by Melodus. He's like, well, he just tossed him like he was just a scrub. I kind of find that scene funny in a way. I don't know why I find it funny, but yeah, he finally came back. I'm not sure where's Bond, but wait, let's see what happened to him. But he was concerned about dying, and this is a troublesome part. And because the fact that she took the hit from a hammer, which is a powerful hammer, and I really never seen somebody take a hit by a hammer directly, let alone on the head. So there you go. She lost her memory just when she just find out about the love interest, and now here we go. So damn, that sucked. That gotta suck, actually. But hey, the series is not at the end yet, so you gotta prolong it. But it is interesting because she did lose her memory completely in terms of not knowing who's the 7 deadly sin. At least I'm thinking that's the case. So I think this should be an interesting take on her character, and let's see how this goes. Because a lot of these 7 deadly sins needs to have their own different development, different path they had to go through. So hers is gonna be, I guess, regaining memory or something. I'm not sure, but this is something. We've been seeing a lot of amnesia storyline, but let's see how they're gonna handle this one. And yeah, it should be. Needless to say, it's not always a bad thing. It could be a good or probably be a disappointing thing. But we'll see how this takes on it. So chapter was pretty good. Or you just got a lot of information. The idea is power up. The explanation how this whole system works, as in like how they're gonna manage to overcome the demon, the 10 Commandments, or at least how they're gonna try to make it balance it out. So right now they're weak, and they're all gonna get power up. Elizabeth, Arthur are gonna awaken their power, which should be very interesting to see in the future. They're going to get the last remaining sin, which, if you remember how the power system worked, is pretty damn devastating. And, yeah, everybody's getting back together. Just waiting for Bond to come back. I'm not sure where he's at. He probably doing his last pledge with his old love interest. I guess the same thing with Jericho. Well, he's not the love. That's not his love interest, but you know what I'm saying. So yeah, I guess we're starting to get to the new start of an arc, and yeah, looking forward to the next chapter. So that leads us to the last manga to cover, and that's Boku no Hero Academia. Yes, we got back from the tournament with Iteku. Lost the tournament early on in the top 8, which is still good. But hey, it's like, you expect him to be in the top 2 or top 4 even. But he's actually ended at top 8. And because of that, we have to start going fast forward in the tournament. Which is understandable in most cases because, this doesn't have the protagonist. And we really want to get to see the real mean deal with the with the actual characters that we know, like Todoroki and Bakugo. So it makes sense for that case, and not only that, it will make sense with the fact that we're getting a new villain that's actually coming down to town. So literally, actually, so I guess I can see why this is happening. But other than that, the chapter 41 was a good chapter. We got back from seeing Deku done with the surgery, and you can see his detailed hand. Luckily, the guy knows how to draw well detail on the figurines, even in, like the structure of the hand. You could definitely tell that the hands is really pretty banged up, and it gives you the idea that One For All is such a lethal weapon, especially when you cannot handle alone. It can't handle at all with that entire power. So there you go. That's the result of what's going to happen to anyone else, or let alone Deku. So it gives you the idea that it's just too much. I guess it's a permanent thing to see from this point forward. We'll see what happens. So Deku just come out of the doctor and pretty much talking to All Might about the fact that this tournament, he really lost the tournament, and it's supposedly he's supposed to be the successor, and that's nice and all. But he looks at the other people who's pretty much have a quirk of their own, and they all well fit to be the successor instead of him. And you even got the guy like Todoroki. So because of that, it's like you already got a success. You already got so many strength. You got a lot of people that has a good amount of strength. So with Deku, he was quirkless, and it kind of seems like I feel like I just get the pity prize out of this, and then All Might just tell him, well, I used to be a quirkless too. So there you go. I kind of had that suggestion that he was quirkless and he pretty much got passed down just like Deku. So he's going to pass him around. Is passing the torch, as they say. So that's what pretty much All Might is doing with Deku. And I did foresee this in some way because I should have known better. Now it only brings the question: who's the one that gave it to him? I don't know, and let's say this say I doubt he did. I just know some of the people that knows that his power is coming from like passing down. I want to know who was the last person that passed out. I mean, after all, All Might managed to make himself a huge name around the world. So because of that, what about his predecessor? What about that person? Wasn't he or even she was just as strong, or was it well known? So it's something that I just think over, maybe in due time, maybe not right now, of course, because right now we're only talking about the tournament. So Deku is starting to understand that it should not even be about the whole the whole people born with quirk and stuff like that, all that strong. You just have to obviously keep going. You can't really doubt himself. So Deku understands all this, and he's pretty much said sorry at the very end. So he went back to see the tournament, which had Krishna going against Bakugo, and it's funny because his old opponent is pretty much cheered for him. I guess because it's like the old saying: if you lose to that guy, you might as well cheer for him for the next one, because if he loses, then the other guy is stronger than that guy, which means he's stronger than you. So I guess it's kind of that kind of train, and pretty much you get to see the battle. You would get off panel with the battle from Aiden. against Shozaki, that girl, that girl with the thorns. And I guess we skipped the other one as well. The other battle, we also skipped with that one too. So it's we're pretty much fast forwarding quickly, especially when Deku is not part of the tournament anymore. So we're not really getting to see much of a fight. We're just seeing like a fast forward of it, and it's mainly this chapter was mainly actually trying to build up this Aiden and his brother development, more of him actually. His brother is the connection because he sees his brother as his idol, and he likes the fact that he managed to call him. And then since he's in the top 4, if he's gonna go for number 1, he's gonna go back to he's gonna reach to number 1 and get back to his brother and report it to him, like, I'm number 1, stuff like that. Make him proud. It's a that's what this chapter is mostly focused on. It's about him and his brother. Then Krishna lost to Bakugo, and we had the final 4, the top 4. So we then go to Aida versus Todoroki Shoto, and they fought against each other, and they fight. Sorry, and pretty much the combat strategy that Aida has is pretty much a like a tactical style. Not much of a fighter thing, is because it's more of a trickery. Since well, I guess it makes kind of sense. Shoto is a pretty damn strong guy. It's just his strategy is more of time based and just like wait until the right moment in order to do something else in order to win the round, and pretty much in this case is make him out of bound, which he almost got him, but at least he managed to hit him, which is actually pretty neat to see that. But the plan wasn't about try to pretty much try to beat him down like anyone else would try to go for. More rather just get him a ring out. But it was still a nice thing. I do think he will develop more further, and I do think he will get some like strength battle attributes more so than the strategy. Strategy is good still, of course. It's just I think he's gonna get a lot of strength feats as well as make a good use out of his quirk. It is a neat quirk, and again, like he made a fast kick and it really caught Shoto off guard. And it could be very helpful down the line. Of course, everyone is still young. It's Hero Academia, right? So that's pretty much the point. And unfortunately for him, he couldn't keep up because Shoto managed to still do the ice power on his quirk, and then he frees him up entirely, making him unable to battle. So he loses the round. But also, Shoto doesn't really use the fire one because he's still confused. He's still in a confused state, so he's still using the ice power. And yeah, I mean, like, of course he's going to use the ice power, but he's not. He's only using the ice power because, well, he's still confused about the satisfaction of using the fire power. Then that doesn't try to think of his dad. Because his dad is such a prick, so why continue to use it? But of course, Deku taught him not to think about others and rather think about your own thing. So I guess that's still ongoing. It's kind of a shame that he didn't learn it right away. But then again, if he learned it right away, maybe it's a little bit too rushed then. So I think this is a better idea to give it time. It'll eventually come down. Maybe whenever the next situation is going to happen, because it is going to happen. At least I think it's going to happen. Aiden pretty much feels so ashamed that he couldn't keep up. He couldn't keep up, and pretty much I wouldn't say he let his brother down, but he can't really surprise his brother being the number 1 hero in that tournament. And this is where the unfortunate moment happened. I do believe his brother was the one that got killed. And yeah, he got killed by some guy named a Hero Killer or something like that. I think I don't know if that's his name, but that's what they just say. So pretty much he's very fascinated with All Might, because as he say, everyone else calling the hero is no damn hero. The only one that actually do him in is All Might. But it seems like he killed his brother. I think that's his brother. If it isn't, then sorry about that. But if it is, that's pretty sad and damn shame, actually. So I don't know what's the. So if it is his brother and if he is dead, that means Aiden's gonna go through a big development in terms of losing a brother. So man, something good is going to happen in terms of development and story structure, not in terms of him, because it is pretty sad that his brother has died in Battlefield, and he's talking about his brother in this whole tournament. And even in the past chapter as well, so it all line up to this. Kind of wish they build it up a little more to this. It just happened so sudden in a way. I know they build it up little by little, but maybe they should have given a little bit more time into it to make it more impactful. But let's see how this all goes down when it gets to it. So good chapter. I do think the tournament might get interrupted with this guy, this hero killer guy. It might get interrupted because right now we still have like another semi-final and then we had the final. So I think it's gonna get interrupted, which is which is not a news, which is not a surprise. It usually does happen, but if it goes all the way, I'll be kind of surprised, just a little. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, not a good chapter. Kind of want to see what's going to lead to. Are we going to see the entire tournament, or are we just going to get interrupted as usual? So we'll see what happens next. And that's it for today's episode. So I hope you enjoyed this one, because really, I really wish I was more prepared for this one. And next time, well, actually next week, I will actually be a lot more prepared once I start to understand to use the device, as well as, start making a new interface and start making it more delicate for my likings. So everything's going to start improving from next week. At least I'm praying for that. The next episode, which is on Friday, is just going to be a basic episode. I don't know if there's any other news to talk about, because this whole week has been very slow. I don't know if it's just me. I mean, it's not slow in terms of real world, but I'm talking about like the manga and anime. Maybe I should start talking about the weekly comic rankings. I don't know. I'm thinking about it. Maybe I have to think more about what to cover. So we'll see what happens in the future. But other than that, yeah, there's not much else to say. And hopefully I'll start to improve by next week. A lot of things to improve on. So again, slowly but surely I'll get to my expectation. So subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Please spread the word. And that's about it. I'll see you next time for more Sparda's World Podcast. Take care, everyone.